All right, we are live here on Zoom. It is Monday, 30th September. The final stand, round one, is finished. The first 3 days is up for it. Records have been broken. One of the first records that was broken in regards to the final stand was the record number of deposits. More deposits in one day than any other day in Cryptonair network history. Shortly afterwards, the biggest deposits have come in one day. So that's the greatest amount of deposits in USDT value. And then another record was broken, which was again the number of deposits in one day. So records keep breaking with the final stand, which is absolutely amazing. And today, what I'm going to discuss with you is about private sales. How do you make millions from private sales? Private sales is all about positioning. One of the things that many of you have done wrong, and then even more of you were concerned about, was pricing. If we take a step away from Final Stand for a moment, when it comes to MintHub, when it comes to United and the distributions that have happened, many of you started to be concerned about the pricing. You were concerned because you assumed that as soon as you receive your tokens, time to sell, time to cash out, time to get rich. And that's not how private sales work. I've always mentioned to you, and I've mentioned to you very clearly in confidence for well over a year, only do what I do when I do it, and I will tell it to you in live time when I do it. What that simply means is that anything you do has the risk that you screw up. Because I know things that you don't know, which is why I'm the one talking to you, built Cryptonair Network, guiding you through the process and establish this whole relationship. If it was that you knew things that I didn't know, I would be on the phone to you. I would be extracting information out of you. I would be listening to exactly what you're doing, and I wouldn't do anything else. And I've emphasized this point so many times now that I do not feel sorry for anyone who sold early as soon as they received their distributions. Why? Because I didn't, and I didn't tell you to do that. I hope that makes sense. So, private sale is all about positioning. That's all it's about. It's about you basically getting in on something before everyone else. The public launch, when the tokens are released and the distributions are paid out, that is not a main event. That's just you receiving what you've paid for. Sit on it. Now the real show is going to begin. Now the token is going to do what it's supposed to do. Now the marketing and advertising is going to begin. Now things are going to shoot up in price, and then you cash out. What happened was you received, some of you received your distributions and then sold. So what you really done here is that I gave you the possibility to make millions. And you said, no, thank you. I'll sell it dirt cheap. And I'm going to exit. And so you exited from the best position you've ever had in the crypto market in your life. You don't do that. Now, the proof of this is that MintHub, for example, they didn't even release their smart contract, the contract address on their website. They didn't release it anywhere, as a matter of fact. And isn't it funny that the UnitedGame.com, United also didn't release the token address or say that they went live because nothing has started yet. Private sale is all about getting in at a discount compared to the launch. Then the launch, the whole purpose of the launch is just to get the token on the blockchain and to hand out the distributions. And then there's all the number of holders that are showing. There's some movement that's showing. It shows that the token or United Game is not new. It shows that MintHub is not new. And then they progress and they do what they're supposed to do. And that's when the price completely skyrockets. That's when one day you look at the phone and you say, that's how much I have. And that's when you can exit. And so it's a non-event. The private sale was a large secret event, hence the word private. The distribution is just you receiving the tokens like, hey, here's your position, everyone. Congratulations. Now wait. And then you cash out. Every example that I gave for the private sale, I actually sat on it, waited, and then I exited after they've done what they're supposed to do, after the advertising has begun, after the marketing has begun, after the moves have been made. And I mentioned that if I'm very busy on implementing things for us, like I'm implementing now, for example, for the final stand, which was the reason why I wanted to do a Zoom session after the private sale is finished. I can't be busy implementing and explaining things to you. If I'm busy implementing things, it gives you better results. If I take the time out to explain things to you, then it takes away the time to implement things. And so that's why I've mentioned, without exaggeration, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times out of my mouth, either on a live Zoom session, on a video, I've typed it out on emails, on Telegram. Do what I do and nothing else. Anything you do could cost you. And right now, like before I click the recording, for example, what I saw here was somebody who said, I moved my tokens to Binance. It's not even listed on Binance. And now I don't see my tokens and what's going on. I didn't tell you to do that. I told everyone to download Phantom. I've said this for months already. I've told everyone distributions are coming out. The distributions have all come out, by the way. I've made things as clear as possible. Anyone who's made any mistakes, it is entirely because you did not follow instructions. Anyone who did follow instructions did not make a mistake, because it's physically impossible to make a mistake if you followed my instructions. I hope that is as clear as possible there. The private sale takes place, the distributions are going out, the token is doing everything that it's supposed to be doing, then the big multiples happen. More liquidity gets added in as there's a lot of purchases happening, and then the price starts to skyrocket. And if I talk to you about the mechanics of it, it will literally be a several hour Zoom session for no reason. The conclusion would end up being the same, which is only to do what I do. The exception to the rule is the final stand. I'm going to own 0% of the final stand. I'm going to purchase 0% of the final stand because it's me. And I don't want to have a financial interest ever. My position, this is not yours, for me to sell the final stand, because then I would be selling on you, right? So that's why I'm not going to own anything of the final stand. And it's why I mentioned that for the first time in history, I'm telling you to do something that I'm not personally doing. Anything else, I am personally doing in lifetime, which means if I did not tell you to sell your distributions and you sold your distributions, that's your fault. rather than many things I will take responsibility for, even if it's not my responsibility. That's just my role as a leader. Any faults that happen, I can say, it's my fault. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's make things work. However, there is a line. And the line is, if you do anything that I don't tell you to do, whatever happens is on you. Is that fair, guys? Yes or no? Many yeses. Everyone is saying it's fair. Now, if I basically, let's say that I'm not right 100% of the time. However, if you just simply do what I do and nothing else, then you will succeed because I constantly succeed. And we'll be in the same position. We'll be in exactly the same position. So my only job is to make sure that you're in the same position as me. And the way to do that is for me, my responsibility being to tell you everything in live time. Hence, later with the question and answer session, I'm going to cut off the recording because some things will be said that later won't be relevant. So as you can see, I'm being extremely cautious to make sure that you have the best success possible. And I've mentioned that doing more things does not mean you're making more money. In the crypto market, it's very simple. Entry point, exit point. That's it. If I tell you the entry point and the exit point, I don't have to tell you anything else. Whether you have exceptional knowledge in the crypto market or zero knowledge in the crypto market, if you do the entry point at the same time and the exit point at the same time, you're going to make the same returns. Whether you're confident while you're doing it or you're anxious while you're doing it, you're going to get the same results. But I can't control tens of thousands of people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from all over the world and say, hey, stop that. Don't do that. I didn't say that. Hey, you stop that. I can't do that. It's on you. It's your responsibility. Your responsibility is to simply just do what I do when I do it in lifetime. It's just to follow instructions. I'm telling you, even if somebody is a total, complete beginner who is learning how to use a computer, who is learning how to use a phone, who's never seen a phone in their life, I'm telling you right now, they can follow the instructions I laid out for you. They can follow the instructions I laid out for you. Now, I understand. I have the empathy where I understand after distributions and the token price plummets, for the first time, when I got involved in the first two private sales, and that happened, I was anxious. And usually I'm very stoic. I'm very relaxed. I'm very calm, which is why on a Telegram message, I mentioned and I said, this is an embarrassing fact. And this is how open I am to you. If I scroll up on the Telegram channel, September 24, side note, I am embarrassed to say this. The first two private sales I bought, I was scared on the token distributions too. Enough experience in this is why I'm confident in everything. All is going exactly according to how it should. So everything is happening as it should. If it wasn't, you'd hear about it from me first because I'm constantly checking everything for everyone. My only break is going to be October 11th and 12th. It's September 30th now. I've mentioned when I'm going to take a 2 day break. And even in those 2 day break, commissions get paid out, everything gets paid out, and everything gets looked at. It's just that I take a step back and relax. And I've mentioned about that break a while ago now. So that's how busy I am for you. 7 days a week, nonstop, making sure everything is functioning and making sure I'm implementing, because I have some really big moves that I'm working on for the final stand, which is going to blow your mind away. And what I really like about the final stand, which, by the way, about the lock-in period, I've mentioned the benefit to that lock-in period, which is that there's going to be no correction. So when the distributions happen, you're not going to see it going down like crazy. So you won't have any fear. Next, even if everybody sells every day, there's not going to be a correction. And then I mentioned about the side effects, where everyone is going to be, or many people will be going on their phone or their Phantom wallet, and then seeing every day the distributions happening, and all of that attention is going to lead to people purchasing. That was the side benefit. But another side benefit, which I didn't think about until just now recently, with what happened with the distributions and people selling their tokens straight away, is that you won't be able to screw up by selling all of your tokens straight away. You'll be able to screw up a tiny amount every day, but that's about it, really. So let me just emphasize to you, the private sale is called private for a reason. It's so secret. It's like if Bitcoin started, you got Bitcoin at 10 cents, Bitcoin launched, and then you sold at 15 cents, or you sold at 7 cents, 5 cents, you've lost money because you panicked because the distributions happened. When a distribution happens, the supply increases. If there's more supply and the same amount of money in the token, then the token price goes down. That's all it was. And then you saw that some people saw the token price go down, and then you panicked. And I literally told you that people who panic and panic sell and panic buy screw up. I've mentioned, I don't know how many examples I've mentioned. I've mentioned examples everywhere. I've mentioned examples in places that you didn't think we had channels in. We've got an Instagram channel. I've mentioned an example there. YouTube, Telegram, email, video, Zoom, everywhere. I've mentioned examples. Don't panic. Don't panic buy, don't panic sell, and only do what I tell you to do. So I'm going to look back at one of the most public and first examples of when I spoke about a story of a man I met in Ukraine. I was in Ukraine right before the war kicked off, and I flew out, and 2 days later, things went crazy. And I met someone as I was discussing crypto with another person, I believe it was. 2 years ago, I mentioned Ukraine tourist wrecked $3 per Bitcoin, yet he lost money. And that was the title of a YouTube video from on the CryptoNet Network channel from 2 years ago. He got Bitcoin at $3, panic bought and panic sold all the way up to $60,000, and he never made any profit. All he did was lose money. Why? Because he let emotions run him. Entry and exit was poor. If he did the entry at $3, did absolutely nothing, he would have generated far greater returns, far greater results, absolute mind-boggling results. The fact that MintHub did not label neither the private cell nor the contract address means it's a non-event. It's a hush-hush secret event. Here's the distributions, everyone. Shh, quiet. Nobody knows this. We're going to do our thing. It pumps up. Congratulations on your wins. It's literally handing you free money. And what a lot of you did, the ones that got the distributions and exited as quickly as possible, is you said, no, thank you. I don't want literally hundreds of thousands of dollars of free money. I don't want it. I'm going to exit at $100, $500. I don't want hundreds of thousands of dollars. I want $500. That's basically what you did. Don't do that. Luckily, with the final stand, you can only screw up a small amount each day, and that's fine. Now, I hope that's clear with you guys. Private sell, it literally means I like you enough that I'm going to let you get tokens before it even lists. We're going to list. Now we have all the holders showing. And what we're going to do on top of that, we're going to distribute out. As we're distributing out, we're going to do our job and things are going to skyrocket. And you're welcome. Wink, wink. That's what it is, guys. That's what you got in on. That's what you're getting. That's where the biggest profit margins are. So please follow my instructions and don't do anything else. Anything else you do is counterproductive. I've mentioned it to you. I mentioned maybe some things you do will work out, but the chances of the greatest chance of success, simply do what I do. And it's just a few minutes. 5 minutes will change your life. 50 minutes will change your life in a bad direction. Because you got 45 minutes of, oh, what's going on and what's happening and panicking and dude, should I do this and that and the other. 5 minutes is all you need. Your 5 minutes is my 12 years. Your 5 minutes is my 12 years of building relationships. Your 5 minutes is my 12 years of hard work, sacrifice, pain. Why would you want to take on any mistakes, pain, suffering, failures that I did? I'm simply just saying, here's the shortcut. Just do what I do. So keep to that and you'll do very well. Now, I had to rant here a little bit because what happened was many of you wished for explanation. I can either explain, like I've mentioned, or implement. And it's actually one of the 9 Cryptonaire laws. I decided to set up Cryptonaire laws. And well, that's the sound for it. I got 9 laws to follow. Law number 1 is to obsess over the success of all members. To obsess over the success of all members. What I want for you is what you want for you. We're on the same page. I promise you that. Law number 2, to pave the path forward, both inside and outside of crypto. I want to help you as much as possible to build yourself as much as possible in the crypto market, outside of the crypto market. It's not just about making money. It's about keeping money. I've mentioned how people wreck themselves who make money for the first time. The only panic I had until recently was everyone here is going to make so much money that I need to tell them what to watch out for. I need to tell them that they need to be disciplined. They need to write down their habits, and that I told them how to spend. I told you guys how you should spend your money in terms of you should use it to increase the quality of your habits, and you should not use it to do things you usually wouldn't do because that can wreck you. I told you you're going to be put into a million different directions, so you need to stay more disciplined. Right? I told you the less people that know how much money you have, the better, because this and that and the other happens. So why would I spend all that energy preparing you if you're going to screw it up by not listening to what I told you, like by doing things that I didn't tell you to do? So that was law number 2. Law number 3, to consider the position of every member. I considered the position of every member when I gave that embarrassing truth of how I was scared on the first 2 private sales in the corrections, and that everything is fine and you just need to do as I do. So I've been doing that. Law number 4, to sacrifice for the greater good of members. Nobody can contest that. I'm working 7 days a week, nonstop, closing closing deals for you, implementing things for you, especially now in regarding to the final stand, making sure everything's up to scratch, making sure everything is taken care of and well catered to. Number 5, law number 5, very important, to prioritize implementation rather than explanation. If I explain things to you, it won't take 12 years to explain everything to you, but it will take months and months of deep, intensive, 7 days a week, hours on end. Here's how everything works. And at the end of the day, what would happen is you would say, Rahman, I'd rather you just tell me what to do. This is all too much. So I don't want to overwhelm you. Explaining overwhelms you, but if me telling you do this and do that does not overwhelm you. So it's simple. I'm going to tell you what to do, whether you do it or not, or whether you add anything extra to it or not, is entirely up to you. Law number 6, to fight for the benefit of all members. I'm not even going to discuss with you the things that I've done for you, the fights that I've had to have for you to make sure you're secure, you're protected, everything is fine. We're not even going to talk about what I've done for you for law number 6. It's greater than you think. Law number 7, to preserve the dignity and freedom of all members. I can't do that unless you only take the actions I tell you to take. Because there was people who I preserved their dignity. They had family debts with their neighbors for years on end, and they managed to protect, in a way, their family name. They managed to pay off their debts. They've managed to secure themselves. They managed to do the things that they needed to do, take care of the people they needed to take care of, and it preserved their dignity. There were people who failed for years and years and years on end. People wondering, what is he doing? Go get a job, go focus on work, go do more hours. This isn't working out. And they were going through that pain and suffering, believing in themselves, trying to do everything they can to make things happen. And then they ended up making hundreds of thousands of dollars. They preserved their dignity. They got some honor, some respect after all of that suffering. And this is what I aim to do with everyone here, to preserve the dignity and freedom of all members. Law number 8, and this is especially now regarding the final stand, to break through to new plateaus, that means to new highs, as a singular unit. The next 300 days, when the token launches and the first distributions take place, is all entirely for you. However many millions and millions and millions of dollars are going to be made with CryptoNet Network members through the final stand, I pocket $0. Because to me, I see your success as my success because we're one unit. Make sense? So if I'm going this way and you're saying, you know what, let me just slightly go this way, see what happens. What happens in this territory, I can't protect you. I can't safeguard you. I can't preserve your dignity. I can't, we're not a singular unit. I can't lose track. I have to keep going forward because everyone else is following me here. So you've just got to do what I do. And law number 9, to protect all members through all circumstances. And that's why I hopped on the Zoom session here. It was supposed to be for after the private sale, the timer was showing then, but I saw the number of people who were screwing up. And to obey my law number 9 here, to protect all members through all circumstances, I sent out a message on Telegram earlier today, by the way, saying, if you want a Zoom session or not. So if we have a look, literally everything that I'm telling you happens exactly how I say. And what did I say? I said, another big day today, lots of cool things to announce. I might have to record a video for this. All I can say is you have to take action on the final stand. Give a thumbs up if you want a Zoom today. We've got 111 responses. 11 thumbs up, 111 thumbs up. And that was in a very brief period of time. And then I said, the people have spoken. Here's the link for the Zoom session today. And here we are. That's law number 9 right there. Now, I will have to set up some laws for you to have the greatest chance of success. But it's literally as simple as doing what I do. And my promise to you is that I will tell it to you in lifetime. So don't do anything else. Don't panic in any way. Eyes on me, eyes on Kryptonet Network, eyes on the emails, the Telegram messages, the Zoom session recordings, and nowhere else. And you'll do remarkably well. So that is something that's extremely important. Somebody wrote a direct message, said, Rahman, see if you can apply for a babysitting tax credit. Sorry, these people are being so rude to you. You are doing a great job. Thank you for your efforts. You are appreciated. Thank you so much. I know that I'm appreciated. What it is, I haven't gone through this, which is why I've managed to become successful fairly quickly. But many people, what happens is they pick someone to follow, a mentor, someone to guide them, someone to basically tell them ABC, 1, 2, 3, this is what you need to do, right? And oftentimes they question that person. They question that person, they question that authority, and they try to do things their way. They screw up, and then they say, oh, I should have listened to this person. Then they go ahead, that person says, you screwed up. Here's what you need to do. And then they do it. And then eventually, again, they don't listen. Then they screw up again and they say, damn it, second time now, I really should have listened. What will happen eventually? That person will get fed up and say, you know what? Screw you. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm not going to teach you anything. Go off. Go do your own thing. That's what happens. Now, I'm not going to do that because if even one person here is listening, Kryptonet Network is live and functioning and going straight. However, there are people who go off on their own. So I will say this, and I will say this once. We're going this way. We're going to have mountains of success together as a singular unit. Anyone who goes in this direction or that direction, I will never communicate with you, guide you, talk to you one-on-one, answer your questions. None of it ever again from this point forward. So I will make things as successful as possible with the final stand. I will continue to give you instructions, and anything beyond that is not my business anymore. I think I've been too kind, too gentle, too empathetic towards people who are not following instructions. So that's how we're going to do things because, again, law number 5, to prioritize implementation rather than explanation. Can you imagine you're in well, I like the Spartan theme. Imagine you're in a war, you got your sword, you got your shield, and you're fighting. And then the guy next to you have to say, oh, hey, by the way, as we're getting attacked, this is how to hold the sword. This is how to hold the shield. We'd be dead. We're finished if I'm busy explaining things as I'm implementing it. Yes, I'm kind of able to do it because I do things pretty well, but I'm going to be busy implementing. And for 300 days, I'm going to be busy implementing. I have texted, not even called, my family, a few weeks ago, I said I'm going to be extremely busy for my members. I'm extremely busy with work, with the business. And if I disappear, as I sometimes do, it's just because I'm busy. Call me if there's any emergencies, no problem. And I'll reach back as soon as I got some more free time. I said that to my family. That's how well I take care of you guys. Law number one, obsess over the success of all members. Law number four, to sacrifice for the greater good of members. I talk to you guys more than I talk to my own family now. But they know I have a busy period. And what I really liked about um, my mother in particular is that the other day I spoke with my mother and I told her, yep, I'm doing like 18-hour days. I'm figuring things out, um, further steps and ways to improve things, reaching bigger levels. I'm doing this, and the other. And I'm just like this. And my mother said, that's great. The younger generation, she said, is weak. The older generation are lazy. They lost and wasted their youth. You need to sprint. You need to have periods of time, my mother told me, where you work extremely hard and there's no balance in life. Then you rest and recover, and then you go again. And that's exactly the advice that I give people. I tell them, life, when people say life is a marathon, that's absolute nonsense. Life is not a marathon like you think. Life is a sprint, rest, sprint, rest, sprint, rest. That's what it is. Right now, you're sprinting. You don't even have to do that much work. You just 5 minutes of work, which is you just basically your only job is to convert currency into another currency and then convert it back. That's it. That's your sprint. I've made it so easy. So currently I'm sprinting. I'm going to be sprinting for 300 days. Um, 1 day a week, I'm going to rest in order to be able to recover for the following 6 days. And I'm going to do that for 300 days. And I'm going to be focused on the final stand, on the altcoin season, on the accelerator members, the secret members. And we're going to go forward like that. Commissions will still get paid out. People might say, well, what about me? I'm not an accelerator member. I've got $0. I don't have any money. Well, the commission structure is better than anything I've personally looked into. As a free member, it's great. And then as a paid member, it's double. So you can get busy earning commissions if you're a free member with $0 and you want to go up and level up. So that's going to be the focus. And anyone who goes off the path, that's on you, because I'm still going to go forward. And then if you say things like, well, I screwed up and you've got to unscrew things for me. No, screw you. Too busy going forward. That's basically how it's going to go. So you guys you don't even have to be sharp. You just have to say, I'm about to take an action. Did Rahman tell me this? Let me go through the content. There is no mention of the action I'm about to take, which means I'm not going to take that action. Your only question should be, what action do I take? Some people are saying support this, support that. I told support, your job is something else now. It's done. Because the amount of stupid questions. I'm going to show you right now some of the stupid questions. Just to lay it on you on some of the things that have been going on. Now, don't think that I'm having a go at anyone here, because in the 12 years that I've dealt with large audiences and large number of people, you guys are the best I've ever dealt with. I'm grateful for you. I'm thankful that the quality of the people here, especially the quality of the people on the Zoom sessions that are constantly showing up, you guys are phenomenal. You guys are phenomenal. But imagine for every 10,000 people, imagine there is 5% that are excruciatingly annoying with stupid questions. That means for every 10,000 people, 500 people every day are asking stupid questions. We've got a guy who basically said, how much does Kryptonite Accelerator cost? That's what he said. And he also said, how comes the United stand, the final stand cost $1? So the whole purpose of the AI support is to filter through, for you to filter through things to answer your own question. There is no error in the system. I would be the first to spot it. Every few days, I actually have a look at everything. I deposit funds to see, is it working? Commissions are working. Everyone can confirm that here. The numbers on the dashboard are reflecting. That's good. If you pop in your Solana address where you're supposed to, it's appearing. So everything does function. So it's just a matter of you doing your part. So I can't do your part. I can't go log into your account, grab your hand. The way for me to help you out even better, literally the only way I can think of is that I literally grab your hand, go on your keyboard or on your phone. I'll grab this finger. I think it's what's it called, the index finger, and I'll go like this for you. That's the only way I can help you further. So follow the instructions. You'll do well. Now, rant over. Look at the 9 laws. I've been following it for a long time. If anyone thinks that I haven't followed any of the 9 laws, let me know. Feel free to hold me accountable for it. But I can safely tell you that's impossible because I've been following those 9 laws constantly. Now we're going to get to the question and answer session. Your only job is to get, your only action step is to get into the final stand and go as big as possible. Not only do you get it at a huge discount, but after the 100 days of distribution, so let's say you got 1,000 tokens, for example, let's say you got 100 tokens, just to make it easier, you get one token distributed every single day into your wallet. And then at the end of that, as a bonus, you get another 100 tokens, which get distributed the next 200 days. And my only job for those 300 days, implementation. And I apologize in advance, not for the reaction you get from me, but maybe the choice of words that I will use. I'm going to be extremely rude, extremely quiet, because I'm extremely focused and I'm busy implementing to make the final stand as big of a result as possible. Because what we work towards next is then going to reflect based on the 300 days prior, which is October 10 until I think it was August of something, 2025. That's 300 days of my life that goes towards you completely, with zero going into my pocket for it. And that's because after that, we're going to move on to bigger things, bigger moves, bigger plays with people that have become successful. 300 days of that. So get it together, guys. Get it together. If you've got $0, use the copy paste marketing swipe. Look at that. You just have to copy paste. Use the copy paste marketing swipe. Your referral link is there in the marketing materials section. Blast it out everywhere. Do as much as you can to earn commissions. Your link is there. You're earning commissions, and you can use it to purchase Accelerator. You can use it to get yourself a balance. CryptoNet network has gone on long enough where people with $0 completely broke with just an internet. There was a guy who didn't even have money for an internet connection. And he managed to make some sales. Managed to make some sales. She managed to accrue enough to get into Accelerator, to get into the secret membership, to go and purchase some tokens, to sell at a profit, to have thousands of dollars, to then keep going and get herself a very decent balance. She then ended up putting it into MintHub, into United, into the Final Stand, quit her job. All of these stories, the amount of stories I can tell, some people, their life changed completely. Some people saved their own life through medical treatments. The amount of success that's been coming in is the reason I am just sharp and focused as ever, because I want to see more of that. So as long as you follow the instructions, you'll do well. I hope you understand that. And people ask dumb questions also, like somehow they managed to get my contact details. I've handed it out before, and sometimes I hand it out on email actually. And they ask me questions like, hey, can I ask you something? I want you to just get straight to the point with your questions. There's no such thing as a question that's too rough, that's too hard. There's no such thing as a question that I'm unable to explain or unable to solve. Everything I can solve, every question I can answer, everything I've looked through in angles that you might not even think about. So we're going to get to the question and answer session. The action steps are simple. If you have $0, focus on sales, focus on commissions so that you have a balance. Then get Accelerator, you get double commissions. So same amount of work will get you double the results. If you have funds, convert it into the Final Stand, into TFS tokens. And you can't screw up by selling all of your tokens at the distribution, because the distribution is spread out. It's spread out because of the reasons that the PDF presentation explained. This new way of doing the private sale is phenomenal. The tokenomics are going to match the exact numbers, which means that the likelihood of things really skyrocketing is extremely high. You can't screw up. Then 300 days of my time, effort, network, everything is going to go into it. It just can't fail. It's only going to succeed. It's only going to go up, and it's only going to go up significantly. The altcoin season is starting to kick in on top of that. Things are going to start going at an all-time high. I'm just going to check what Bitcoin is on now. Bitcoin, the granddaddy of it all, is almost at $64,000. It was at 65 something recently, even 66, I think. So it's starting to touch like major all-time highs soon. So everything is timed to perfection. Everything is working remarkably well. Everything is good. Excellent, as a matter of fact. United are doing things ahead of schedule. MintHub are doing things ahead of schedule. The Final Stand is going to be a heck of another level from that, in my opinion. It's not a biased opinion either. It's because of the new way of doing the private sale and having the tokenomics tailored to the actual numbers, and then having distributions without corrections. And it's the first of its kind in that. Then at the same time is everything else that's going to go into it. Many of it which I cannot discuss, some of it which I can, but will take hours to explain. but it's going to go extremely well. Now, I'm going to cut off the recording. We're going to go on to a Q&A session. Action steps are clear, I believe. So before I cut off the recording, guys, you have to get into the final stand ASAP. I think there's like a day left, and then the price goes up another 33.3%. Get in now. I'm signing out for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, and I'm going to get to the question and answer session. Time to stop the recording.